You know that feeling in early spring or maybe early fall when the air is crisp and clean and there's a really nice breeze and you want to bring that into your home. And so you begin to open windows and you open a door and oh, there goes the nose. And the wind begins to, you can kind of feel the breeze flowing through the house. But then you open another door and it comes whooshing through. Well, I feel like that whooshing kind of energy is what we experienced with this last moon. And now all of the energy of that is flowing through us and reaching every nook and cranny. And after that initial whooshing through, that initial significant movement, noticeable movement, it's one you can't ignore. It will rearrange things in your house. Papers will blow around, things might get knocked over. Your blinds or your curtains will billow and move. The plants will flow around. My plant's back, by the way. The plants will flow around in the breeze. It's noticeable. It's not something you can ignore. But once that settles down, that initial burst of energy and air, then things calm and it's back into a place of stillness. And I think that's where we are today because things feel so much more still. And there's something that can create a sense of, because of the stillness on the backside of so much movement, be aware that you may feel a sense of restlessness in that stillness. And if you're one who has a tendency to do more than be, you may find yourself looking for something to do or an indication in your external world that something is wrong, and that's why there's stillness, that you're missing something, that there's something you've forgotten, that you're somehow behind, that you have that you need to hurry up, that you need to do more. That is not the case. Don't buy into that voice. That's the voice from the past, because in those still moments, we didn't feel safe. But just because that voice is speaking now doesn't mean that it needs to be listened to or obeyed. So just because that voice is speaking now doesn't mean it needs to be obeyed. Allow for the stillness. Allow for that energy to flow throughout all of you, because we have another new moon coming on the 21st of September, and it is directly followed by the equinox, the rebalancing, the balance of, the balance of light and dark, the balance of light and dark. And so even though things feel still, there's a lot of movement under the surface. There's a lot of movement under the surface. I don't know why I keep repeating things, but apparently I need to. There's a lot of movement under the surface. Do not be deceived by that voice that says, you've forgotten something, you're behind, you're missing something, you need to do more for this manifestation to come into fruition. You don't. You don't. Stick to your plan. Keep doing what you've been doing and listen to your body. If you need movement, then move, but move in a way that's supportive of what your body is asking for and what brings you peace of mind, and not elevates or escalates that sense of apprehension or anxiety or something being missed. If you need to take a rest, take a rest. You're not missing out. You're never behind. You're never late. These sound kind of trite. What is for you is for you. Listen to your body and allow this stillness to hold you. Allow yourself to be comfortable in the discomfort and the uncertainty that many of us have associated with stillness, because it was equated to lack, whether it's an external lack or a belief that there is a lack within us that we need to constantly make up for. You don't. You are perfect just as you are. So allow for the stillness. Garbage trucks. Taking out the garbage, man. And actually, that's kind of where the new moon comes in towards the end of the month. This is like our final. I mean, we are reaching a conclusion here. And just as we talked about with 9/9, we are reaching a conclusion point here with September. It is a 9-month in a 9-year. We are reaching a conclusion. And here I go again, repeating myself. The guides want this to be very, very clear. With the new moon on the 21st, allowing yourself to recognize what you have been, what within your, let's see if I can say this right, what within your manifestation, what you are working towards manifesting, what you are manifesting, no longer aligns with who you are. Because I think we're going to see that, because we've changed. And many of these manifestations, goals, dreams we have been progressing towards, it doesn't mean that you have to throw it all away. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means that you might need to make an adjustment to ensure that what you are manifesting is in alignment with the truth of who you are right now. And then on the back side of that, we have the equinox to bring the rebalancing, to remind us of that equal balance of light and dark within each of us. Another little side note that may seem kind of random, but has been part of my experience today and keeps being brought up in my mind to share with you guys. Be also aware, or there's an opportunity for us to be aware of subtle, all right, let me get this correct in my wording. The subtle ways in which we may have the subtle ways in which we may have manipulation or even gaslighting projected onto us. So now, as we always say, anything that is reflected in our external is a reflection of something within us, right? These are opportunities. These are not tests. These are opportunities for us to make a different choice, for us to interact with this situation in a different way, reflective of then how we interact with that same energy within us. But be aware that it's subtle. It's very, very subtle. And as we talked about yesterday, that is because we are so much more energetically sensitive to everything around us. And so you can pick up on these subtleties. And it's important for you to trust the subtleties. Trust what you are receiving on a subtle level. Trust what you are receiving on an energetic level. Trust what you are receiving, the signals and the signs, the signals and the inner knowing, the messages that you are receiving from yourself, from your higher self, from your guides, from your body. Trust what you're receiving. because you are more sensitive. And so you are picking up on things that you may not have picked up on before, or you may have picked up on, but then you doubted yourself. But what's important in these moments is for us to then respond from who we are now, from the fullness of ourselves, not to just let it slide, not to just because it's subtle doesn't mean that it should be ignored. Now you have to follow your intuition and your inner knowing dependent upon your situation. But how would that future self of you that you are embodying now, just as we talked about yesterday, right? Being the person that experiences what you want to experience in the future, how would that person respond? How would that person engage or not engage? Maybe the best way to respond is to not respond. And that is certainly is the truth for a multitude of situations. The importance is for you to be certain in your own inner knowing and trust in how you choose to respond. When you go down deep within your heart and your solar plexus and your third eye as well, bringing those together, taking a deep breath, centering yourself, trusting what you're feeling, and responding from that place. And then allow yourself to be back into the stillness. We've had a lot of stillness we've talked about in the last month or so. It's very interesting. Have you felt the waves, the ebb and flow of the energy and how it's moving? I'm sure you have. Trust that too. All right, I know it's kind of a shorter message today. Shall we do cards? Maybe we'll do one card. It's so quiet right now. And that's part of it too. You may have those moments where it's so quiet, it's almost disconcerting. But it's important. Part of that also is, again, your sensitivity. Your senses are more sensitive. And so when there is a noticeable shift in volume levels and activity and energy, you're going to take notice of it more than you did before. The other part of this is you're being more intentional with your focus, so you're not as distracted as you have been in the past. And that allows you to be, that creates a space for greater sensitivity, greater awareness. All right, are we going to pull a card? Yeah, let's pull a card. Which one shall we do? Okay, we're going to do Wisdom of the Oracle again. And since I'm standing again, I'm going to shuffle on my knee. Or attempt to. I did shuffle these before I started recording so that I could avoid dropping them. Because this is tricky. But I'm really enjoying standing while talking to you guys. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. If you're new, thank you for joining us. If you have been here before, thank you for being here again, for coming back and being part of our community here. The never-ending story. Wait a minute. It was reversed. Okay, there's the end of a cycle. Look at that. Okay, this is the never-ending story, but it came out reversed. And it's card number 37, which is a 10. This is putting an end to those cycles that seem to never end, that you continue to revisit and revisit and revisit and revisit. And there's no judgment in doing that. That's part of the refining process. That's part of the process of understanding ourselves, of elevating our consciousness, of elevating our awareness, elevating our sensitivity, all of those things, increasing our tools, learning how to utilize those, bringing it into the human experience. That's all of those. But we're closing the chapter. It actually feels like the book, which speaks back to what I talked about yesterday in that meditation. It was actually the 222 meditation. I linked it in yesterday's video. I'll link it in this one as well in case you missed yesterday's or you didn't see the link. You may, if this really resonates for you, closing the book and putting an end to this never-ending story, this never-ending cycle of frustration and lack, feeling as if you are separate from the abundance when it is actually right there. It's right within reach, because look, that's a mirror right next to the fairy. Or are we just talking about? Yeah, the never-ending story coming to an end, coming to a conclusion. So check out that meditation if you're interested. A meditation to close the book and allow us to then move forward to write a new story for ourselves and for our lives. And it includes ancestral healing as well, which is a part of this equation for so many of us. Let's see, what else? I think that's it for this card. Yeah, I'm just so drawn to the fairy and how frustrated, and there's such a sense of almost giving up. And so I want to say that if you're feeling this stillness and getting and it's bringing you back to this place, shift your perspective. Understand that you don't have to be in this place anymore, that it's actually a closing of the cycle. So it's important for you to see beyond, to see the stillness from that higher self you, the future self you. It's actually the present you, but when your perspective is coming from the past you, then it's your future self. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So really feeling into where is the origination of this perspective. If you're feeling this sense of lack and frustration and this is just never going to end, I feel stuck, I have no choices, what am I going to do? Where is that perspective coming from? And then what can you focus on to shift that? Because there is certainly something. There is certainly something. If you are here, there is certainly something. Ultimately, look at how far you've come. That should be enough. Look at how far you've come. Even if you look back to the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks, the last 6 months, look at how far you've come. Look at how much you've changed. Look at how you respond differently to different situations or to those same situations. You'll have the opportunity to practice that. So make your choices based on what you want to, how you want to experience that situation today and going forward. Make your choices and respond from the you that is experiencing and living your manifestations. Okay. I am going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for being here. I so appreciate you. I'm sending you so much love. So much love. I'm so proud of you. You guys are doing a fantastic job. And remember, all the work that you're doing on yourself is rippling out into the environment around you, the collective around you, and together we literally are changing the world. All right. Much love to you. I'll see you tomorrow.